Hi, my name is Julianne, also known as Roadrunner, and in 2022 I thru-hiked the entire Appalachian Trail northbound from Springer Mountain, Georgia to Katahdin, Maine. And today I want to talk about the 4 unique personalities or characters or strangers that I met on the Appalachian Trail during my thru-hike. Now, I get a lot of questions if the Appalachian Trail is dangerous, and generally I don't find it dangerous at all, and if there's any danger then it would be associated to other humans rather than animals or mountain ranges or anything like that. So I thought about talking about the 4 unique personalities that I came across or that I heard about while my thru-hike was going on. Because I'm not into blasting people on social media, I will not be using their real names, I will not be using their trail names either, and that's mainly because yes, I want to talk about these people, but I also think that it's more important to talk about how other people reacted to these particular hikers, and that's other thru-hikers, as well as social media. And I think that is probably the most important subject when it comes to what I want to talk about today. So the first 2 characters are really the most harmless people that I came across, and that's just my opinion, but I want to talk about them just because they were mentioned a lot on social media. The first person was an individual who was carrying a leaf blower with him while hiking the entire Appalachian Trail. And yes, I guess there could be a question as to why is he carrying a leaf blower, but social media blew up when it came to this particular hiker. He decided to carry a leaf blower. Who knows why? Nobody really knows. I mean, maybe some people know. Maybe it was just because he liked to carry a leaf blower, but apparently social media thought that this was a really big danger to the community and that we should have to just look out for this individual who's carrying a leaf blower. This is the one hiker that I personally did not meet, but I heard a lot about him, as well as I met the lady that he was hiking with, which was an elderly lady. And I have heard a lot of other thru-hikers as well as trail angels talk about this guy and that he was extremely nice, very thoughtful, and the fact that he was hiking with an elderly lady, I can't imagine that he would be an actual danger. But just keep in mind, some people have different preferences on what they want to carry. Some people want to carry leaf blowers, some people want to carry big logs, and there's just all kinds of unique humans on the trail. The second guy that I want to talk about was carrying a spear with him. I found out about him on social media when social media was blowing up about that he is a danger to the thru-hiker community and that he should be arrested for carrying a spear. For me, I didn't think much about the fact he was carrying a spear, and because I like to shape my own opinions before I make an assumption, I didn't really think much about it. But social media was very gung-ho about getting him off the trail. Now, I did talk to other thru-hikers who met him. I personally also met him, but before I had met him, there were thru-hikers, and he told me that he was completely harmless, that he was just a young kid who didn't know how to prepare for the thru-hike. He didn't have the right equipment, he was hiking with cotton clothes, and he didn't really have any food. And so when I met him, that's exactly what I experienced. It was just a young kid. I didn't feel any danger when it comes to him. In fact, I met him at around a bend, and he didn't even bring his spear with him to the hostel. He usually left it at the trailhead and then grabbed it when he would continue hiking. He was so much not a danger and really quite harmless that other thru-hikers made a point of getting him the right equipment, a better backpack, I believe a better shelter, as well as clothes that were no longer cotton so that he would not die of hypothermia or anything like that. Now, for me, the fact that social media got so intense about him carrying a spear was really hypocritical to me, because not every hiker, but a lot of hikers carry knives with them. And I was carrying a knife, and for some reason that is okay, but carrying a spear is not. As I understand, this young kid carried the spear for protection as well as potentially hunting his own food because he didn't have any good equipment. Now, I have a knife, all these other hikers have a knife. If I were to want to harm a person, I probably wouldn't have a spear out in the open where everybody was just gonna look at me. There are so many opportunities for other hikers with knives to harm those hikers that didn't have knives. So again, social media totally got this completely wrong. Number 3, I'll call him number 3 guy, or I don't know what I'll call him, but he was apparently a real danger to women. So this man reportedly, and I have my information from other thru hikers who did hike around him, as well as who did hike around the females that were bothered by him, okay? So this hiker apparently would not stop touching women after being told to stop touching them, and he continued to do so. He made women uncomfortable with his presence, and apparently he also pleasured himself outside of a female hiker's tent. And according to sources, the next day you could see the pleasure juices on the tent. People were really aware of him. Social media got this one right with regard to just making women aware of this person. I believe a lot of hostels would ban him from staying at hostels, and he was eventually arrested as well, but he wasn't arrested for bothering the ladies. He was arrested for carrying illegal drugs. As I understand, he became a southbounder later, and that is exactly where I met him. I met him in Maine, and I didn't know I had met him until he had passed me, walking past me. I just remembered feeling really uncomfortable all of a sudden, getting this eerie feeling. He passed me. He did say something. I had no idea what the heck he was saying. Groceries was actually right behind me, which was nice. But I turned around and I looked at him, and he turned around and looked at me, and he gave me this really strange look, and I continued hiking. A few minutes later, I was continuously thinking about this man was really creepy, and he also looked really familiar. And then eventually I asked Groceries if she thought this was the hiker that everybody had been talking about bothering the women, and as I understand, Groceries actually had hiked around him earlier throughout her journey and said that this was the hiker. I was really uncomfortable being around him versus the guy who carried a spear was completely harmless. I felt no negative energy. The fourth and final strange character, a stranger danger person, is somebody that I felt where social media got it wrong, and it really, really irked my nerves. So there's this guy, and he posted a lot on the Facebook group for thru hikers. He posted pictures of himself thru hiking, and he started posting pictures about other thru hikers that he met. He really made himself out to be this country bumpkin. Now, on a side note, I use the word country bumpkin as a term of endearment. Country bumpkin to me are cute southern men that are kind, have a beard, have the southern hospitality, the southern know how to treat women in a southern way. So country bumpkin is a term of endearment for me before I get comments about, well, you're just saying some bad things about Southerners. I love Southerners. Anyways, all of a sudden on social media, on the Thru Hiker Facebook page, there was a guy, and I'll just call him Social Media Guy. And Social Media Guy made a post saying, be careful of country bumpkin. This guy is stating to people that he worked for 60 Minutes and that he was doing a documentary about thru hiking. And to be careful, because he was not an actual reporter from 60 Minutes. And I guess Social Media Guy did further research that country bumpkin also had previous records of being arrested for stalking. So you would think social media would take on and make sure that people would be aware of this person. No, social media decided to defend Country Bumpkin because that's exactly what Country Bumpkin did. He made everybody think he was a cute little fluffy nice man, and everybody attacked Social Media Guy. And it was really annoying to me because as I was reading that, I realized that this was the guy that we met in Duncannon. And in Duncannon, Country Bumpkin comes up to us and literally tells us that he worked for 60 Minutes and he was doing a documentary. He took a picture of us, which you're gonna see now. and posted it on Facebook as though, oh, we're gonna be part of his amazing documentary. There's also a video of me talking about having met a 60-minute reporter. We are going to now keep hiking through the AT through Duncannon. Just got talking with some guy who's gonna do a piece about the AT on 60 Minutes, so that's pretty neat. His name is... I hope it's a positive piece of the AT, because you never know with reporters, you know. Now, just so you know, that interaction happened actually before social media guy warned everybody about Country Bumpkin. And so I just think social media got this wrong. This is a really, really creepy thing to do, to go up to other hikers, tell them he was a reporter, take pictures of them, get all of their names, and then not actually work for 60 minutes. Let's just say that's harmless. Okay, he's not carrying a spear, he's not carrying a leaf blower, he didn't assault any women as far as we know, but he's just using some strange statement to talk to people. Don't you think that's creepy to use such a statement that makes people more open and willing to communicate? And maybe he has a social problem, maybe he doesn't know how to communicate to people, but he uses this to meet women. And the fact, or I don't know if this is fact, maybe this is not fact, but the idea that he also has previous records of having been arrested for being a stalker makes this extra strange. And for me, having pictures of all these people is a little bit more serial killery than somebody who's carrying a leaf blower. He was probably the most creepy that I met on the entire trail. So all through hikers, please be careful, be aware of your surroundings. The trail is not dangerous at all, but the people around you are unique. They have different upbringings, they react differently to different things. So be aware of your surroundings, look around, notice strange behaviors, and know when there's people wanting to get personal information without actual real reasons. So it was a pleasure talking about this. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much, and I'm going on my next hike soon, so I'm excited about that.